I'd have to say the last two presentations were a nice segue into the PlantForm story and where we are today. Before getting into it, we are looking to raise Series A capital to move into clinical trials. So I'm hoping Alex from Boston can give us $10 million, and then we can utilize Nick's services at Ruslan, and it's a win-win for everybody. But I think, first of all, I want to thank the organizers and for the people that stuck around to the end, but thanks the organizers, Courtney and Sally and John and your team. You did an excellent job for your first event. Very well organized. If there were problems behind the scenes, you kept them behind the scenes. So as a speaker, as a sponsor, I appreciate the opportunity to be here to learn more about the Isle of Man and the initiatives that you guys have going on. And you've done a great job, and I wish you success. So PlantForm. We're a Canadian-based company. You know, I think we could go back to the original. The minister had made a comment about we should be looking at solutions that affect loved ones. Mr. Mellon's presentation talked about, you brought up tobacco. He brought up the many blockbuster cancer drugs as well as the biologics market. This is what PlantForm is all about. And I have to admit, this slide here, sorry, usually our director of communications, she does our PowerPoints, and before a conference I'll do a quick review. She's kind of like my wife. She tells me what to say and do. But we had a stat, and it was based on American and Canadian stats. So yesterday I kind of looked up some stats here in the UK, or the Isle of Man, sorry. And I came across some interesting stats where 3.45 million people were diagnosed with a cancer in 2012. You know, a mortality, 175 million deaths of the disease. Cancer's probably touched everyone in this room's life. It's a horrible disease. The four main cancers: breast cancer, colorectal, prostate, and lung. And then I saw an article published by NHS, and I think it was in the Telegraph newspaper as well. But, you know, with the title, Cancer Survival in Britain, the Worst in Europe. Researchers say the main reason for the low survival rates are delayed diagnosis, which I think Dr. Ton had talked to earlier with devices, underuse of successful treatments, and unequal access to treatments. And that's what PlantForm's focusing on. A lot that pertains to the cost of these drugs. What's PlantForm all about? We have a low-cost plant-based manufacturing system. It's a disruptive technology to the current mammalian way of producing biologic drugs. And the reference earlier to tobacco, it's the tobacco plant that we're using for our plant-based system. We've re-engineered that tobacco plant to have a mammalian glycosylation pattern. So it's even though it's a plant, it's been modified. It's been talked to earlier on about the biosimilar market. It's projected the $80 billion is the biologic market. 80 billion of biologics come off patent in 2015. What is PlantForm all about? It's all about, we know biologics are expensive to produce, but our manufacturing, our proprietary system allows us to produce these drugs at 90% of the cost. Our first drug to market is a biosimilar Herceptin, the breast cancer drug. We've done our preclinical in vivo and vitro assays characterization. This was a mouse study done with a breast cancer cell line with our biosimilar trastuzumab, Herceptin, with the innovator, which is Roche's drug. You'll see at the end of the day, after 21 days, the endpoints were the same. But we're not a one-trick pony. Herceptin is our first target. It's the first one that comes off patent. It's the first one that meets our business strategy. But we are also developing Avastin and Erbitux. And these three drugs actually are drugs for the 3 of the 4 top cancer drugs that I mentioned earlier on. But we also have side contracts, revenue-generating contracts. We're working with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the National Research Council of Canada on an HIV antibody. It's a cocktail drug that for the Gates Foundation will focus on sub-Saharan Africa. We're also working with the U.S. Defense Agency on it's called butyrylcholinesterase, which is a nerve agent antidote. So these are revenue generating. They're not our core pipeline. We're focused on oncology, but we do have collaborations. This is our play. We will partner to go to market. We have discussions with pharma companies around the world, but so how it's positioned is that manufacturing usually makes up about 1/3 of the cost of the biologics. With our low-cost system, at a 10% of that cost, our pharma partner can go to the market with the best price point as well as maintaining a large profit. The difference between generics and biosimilars are biosimilars are expected to come on the market at only a discount of about 15 to 30%, compared to the generics market where we're used to that reduction, 80% discount. So the price point is going to be very, very important in that regards. We say we can capture about 1.25 billion of that market. I was in New York a couple weeks ago. There was a presentation by Decision Resources, which is a UK-based entity. They said that basically if you can come about 50% of the discounted rate for biosimilars, you'll capture 50% of that market. We're Canadian, we're conservative, our numbers are very conservative, but there are estimates that could go a lot higher. Here's our system. So our IP and everything is kind of the front end and how we get the drugs into the plant. We grow plants for 6 weeks, and a parallel activity for 1 week, we're growing an agrobacterium, which has a genetic sequencing in that. We infiltrate the plants through a vacuum system, grow the plants for 1 more week. It's like a virus that grows throughout the plant, so that the drug is contained in the biomass of the plant. It goes through, the extraction of the drug is standard food grade technology. The rest, purification, fill finish, that's standard pharma processes. So we're not the only plant-derived company out there. Two, I just want to highlight Mr. Mellon's presentation referred to Cerezyme, Gaucher's disease, which was Protalix, and now with Pfizer, came to the market last year. It's a carrot cell-based system. And the one we'd like to talk about as an early stage and for valuation is Medicago, is a Canadian company that was just purchased by Mitsubishi Tanabe for $350 million. They have a phase 2 vaccine right now. Here are some of the other players in the market. There are, already 12 approved biosimilar drugs in Europe, 4 in the US, and 2 in Japan and South Korea. We will partner to market. We do have a partnership with a company in Brazil called Pharma Praxis for that market. We were just notified on December 4th that a government initiative known as Innovation Brazil are going to support our collaboration program. It'll look at building a pilot facility and taking 1 drug to market. When you talk about the island of man, PlantForm's looking for capital partners right now. We can put manufacturing on the ground anywhere in the world. It's a fully contained environment. We're not outdoors, we're not in a greenhouse. So if we get the right capital partners, we're in discussions with the Middle East, we're in discussions in different jurisdictions, but if we can find a capital partner that gets involved early, we're willing to put manufacturing in that jurisdiction. The investment opportunity, we're a little bit asking for more than a lot of the people that were up here today. Basically, we've received a $2 million financing recently by Walter Scott. He's from Edinburgh. Part of that is a $1.3 million matching fund tranche that is coming due. And then we're raising a Series A round of $8.7 million. This takes us to the end of phase 1, which for a biosimilar is the beginning of phase 3. It's a very large valuation point at that time. There is no phase 2 required. PlantForm summary, we started in 2008. We spun technology out of the University of Guelph, which is Canada's premier agricultural school. We licensed the technology all out of one of our founders, Dr. Hall's lab. Very, very favorable financing deal. It's an agricultural school, not a business school. We've raised $5 million through founders and different angel investors. We've $2 million in government funding, $2 million in contract revenue, and we are protected with IP. Financial forecast, revenue, and it shows in 2015, 2016, our milestone payments through our pharma partner, and then you would have your transfer and royalty streams when you get to market in 2017. Oh, 39 seconds, perfect. 2 exit points. We see an exit point at the end, phase 1, beginning of phase 3. 5 to 10x, and then at the end of Series B financing, when you're in the market, 25 to 60. Again, I like to use the Medicago comparable of 350 million with a phase 2. And that's it. Thank you for your time, and again, thank you very much to the organizers of the show. Thank you.